This is where we left in our previous lesson. In today's video, I want us to focus on variables, data types, and operators. I want us to separate the JavaScript file from the HTML file. So let us create JavaScript file. I'll call it script.js. And now instead of writing the code within the HTML file, we'll just reference our new JavaScript file. This is how you include an external JavaScript file within an HTML file. Now let us paste our JS code in our JavaScript file. You can see it is working as previously, but to avoid having to get the alert, I'll just comment this one out, and then let us start with variables. Basically, a variable is a container used to store data. We have different types of variable. We have var, we have let, and constant. var was largely used before the ES6 stands for ECMAScript, introduced in 2015. So basically that is before modern JavaScript, which includes ES6, ES7, and ES8. Is best practice to use the let and the const variable names. Let us look at the two variables. We will start with let. For instance, let name equals to David, and then for the constant, that's constant digit equals to 5. Then I'll open the console so we can log out whatever we are doing. So let us console name is David, and then let us log digits should be 5. Now the main difference between these two variables is the fact that for the first one, when you're using the let keyword, you can reassign after it has been declared. Let us change the value of name to Mike. You can see it has changed the value, but for the constant, you can't change the value once it has been declared. Let's say equals to 8. We will run into an error. Yeah, you can see assignment to constant variable. That means you can't reassign once you have already declared. So that is the main difference between the two. Of course, we will be using more of these in our subsequent lessons, and that is it for the variables. Let us now look at the different types of data in JavaScript. They are divided into two categories. That is the primitive data and non-primitive data, but that goes beyond the scope of this tutorial. In today's lessons, we're just going to look at them in general. So I'll just copy the different types of data and then I'll explain. So the first type of data is the string type, and it basically means a text enclosed in quotes. I'll be giving examples. Then we have the number type. These are integers and floating point numbers. Then we have the boolean. They represent logical values, true or false. And then we have the undefined. It includes declared variable which has no value. Then we have array, is a list of values. Then we have object, is a collection of key pair values. Let us look at the examples. So for the first one, it is a string. So we will say let language equals to JavaScript. Then for the number, let us say let count equals to 10. Then for the boolean, let's say is active equals to false. And then for the undefined, we will just declare it. Then we have an array. We'll say let fruits equals to. Now for arrays, we normally use the block brackets, then we'll have oranges, then we have bananas, then we have mangoes. And then for the object, let's say car equals to, now for this one we use the curly brackets, and it is a key pair value. So we say color, we blue, have the make, the BMW, then wheels, say 4, year of manufacture 2020. So those are the 6 data types in JavaScript library. Of course there are more, but these are the most commonly used. And in fact, you can check the type of data using a special method in JavaScript, and that is type of. But before then, let us address this error we are getting here, unexpected. Okay, this is because of this one we have had it, and then for this other one, undefined, it is a special keyword in JavaScript library. Let us use camel case. So the error is gone. So let us check these different types of data. Just have to console.log. Then we use the type of method. We invoke that. We check the first one, which is language. As you can see, is a string. You don't necessarily need to invoke that method. You can just input the data type. So it is giving us a string. We check for the second data type, which is the count. They should output a number. And then we move on to the third one, is active. This one is a boolean because it is either true or false. We proceed to the next one, which is undefined. We proceed to the next type. It is an array. We are getting an object. I'll explain that in a moment. Let us check for the last data type, car. It should be an object. Yeah, we are getting that. Now we have a problem with this one. It's giving us an object instead of an array. I should have mentioned that arrays are a special internalized object in JavaScript. Now for you to check if a data type is of an array type, we have to use a special method, that is array.sArray, then into brackets you just have to input the variable. In this case we are using fruit. It should give a true. Yeah, we get that. If we try to check these other data types whether they are arrays, you'll get false. Like for count, it's false since it is a number. We check for this last one, car, it should be false since it is an object. So out of all these 6, the only one that is going to return a true is this one, fruits, since it is an array. And that is it for the data types. Of course, we will be learning more about them in our future lessons. In case you have a question or a comment you have to make, I'd leave it in the comment section. I will add the lesson here and dive into operators in the next lesson. So if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out.